All right, a guy who won a Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles. A guy who's feisty, and I just like others, I like him feisty. just like others have supposedly said in the past. Feisty C.J. Gardner-Johnson gets traded to the Houston Texans. And he takes the high road on the tweet, I love you, Philly, we're forever champions. But we know he's feisty. I don't know how he's going to feel about this. I don't know what he's going to think about this. He said some things about the Lions, like it was a horrible year there. It was hell, his 1 year with the Detroit Lions. So you welcome that big personality who is not going to bite his tongue. And maybe that's where the Texans are trying to go next level. Maybe they want somebody who's going to come in there and be a little rough and tumble and be a little in your face and be a little tell it like it is and say what needs to be said, even if it makes people uncomfortable. That's C.J. Gardner-Johnson. And I'm not being judgmental. I'm just observing the facts as I've seen them and heard them over the past several years. This guy, you bring this guy in, he's going to shake things up, and maybe that's what the Texans are looking for.
I don't think they shy away from these guys. Nick Caserio, no, and especially DeMeco Ryan. I mean, DeMeco Ryan comes from the team we just talked about that forever you and I joke about. The 49ers, a bunch of guys on a team that just, run through the wall. They don't even think, they just run through the wall. Guess what? C.J. Gardner-Johnson kind of fits that mold. So he's perfect. And for the defense they play, and DeMeco Ryan's still rooted in that Seattle scheme, and he's going to be an in-the-box, strong safety type of football player, it's the perfect fit for him schematically. He's going to fit right into how they play football. So that makes sense. Their secondary already is damn good. Now you add him to it. And damn, this guy's a good luck charm. I mean, when he got traded yesterday, I just went, wait, should I just pencil in the Texans for the AFC Championship game? Because, I mean, it's Eagles Super Bowl, Detroit NFC Championship game, Eagles Super Bowl, and now back here to the Houston Texans, where we know they're a team that's on the cusp. He can't be that unhappy. And I know Philly was great, and he had a great time and won it there, but he's going to a team with a quarterback and the rest of the football team that, like Philadelphia and what Nick Caserio is doing with trades, Laramie Tunzel, all of it, he's setting it up there to where the Texans are going nowhere anytime soon. They are building a team that is going to sustain and be around for the next 4 or 5 years as one of the better teams in football. So from that standpoint, I think C.J. Gardner-Johnson should be happy, and the Texans I know are going to be happy to have him running around being a crazy man on the back end.
He had a knee injury that he suffered in Week 2 against the Seahawks 2023. He didn't play until the final weekend of the regular season, then came back and played in all 3 postseason games. So he just didn't play much for the Lions, but they did make it to the NFC Championship that year. And you're right, he is a good luck charm. And he is a guy that makes things interesting and keeps things spicy and is definitely feisty. And the Texans pick up a guy. They are in the mode of, what do we need to do to get past where we've been the last 2 years? Win the division, win a wild card game at home, but we can't get past the round of 8. We spend so much time focusing on whether the Ravens or the Bills can get past the Chiefs that we've lost sight of the fact that the Texans are trying to get past all 3 of them. The Texans are the team that's right, along with the Bengals.
Right.
They're the team that is right beyond Chiefs, Ravens, Bills. And so the Texans are doing what they have to do to address their weaknesses, improve their strengths, and be ready to take it to a higher level in 2025. And it all started with moving on from offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick.
Yeah.
And then they're overhauling the offensive line, part of the trade for C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Kenyon Green, the 3rd starting offensive lineman, gone. They cut Shaq Mason. They traded Laramie Tunsil, and now Kenyon Green is gone from the Texans' offensive line. They've added Laken Tomlinson, but 3 guys gone, and they know it needs to get better. Collectively, the offensive line for the Texans last year was bad, and they're doing what they have to do to make it better.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, not only was there issues schematically, they're telling you, they didn't love the attitude of some of those guys up there, and they want to change the culture of that offensive line, that group altogether. I think that's what the Texans are telling you. So, yeah, they're changing things around. It's going to be a new day, a new attitude there with that group up there, and we're seeing them kind of transition in front of our face. And when you take it to the Eagles side of the football, you just go, wow, I mean, yeah, what does this mean? It at least, first off, I just thought, well, it sounds like that means probably Mekhi Becton's asking for too much money, and they're not going to be able to resign him at right guard. So maybe that era is done as far as seeing the biggest 5 guys in the history of the planet on the offensive line. But it's not like they're missing a whole lot here with Kenyon Green. Kenyon Green, first-round pick, was definitely one of the best interior offensive linemen in the draft 3 years ago. But not playing quite as well, missed a full year because of an injury, right? And then some of these maybe coaching and all of that has just not led to what you want your top, 25 pick to look like as a starter. So I think Philadelphia's looking at it going, wait, we need guys at that position. We liked him coming out in the draft, and we got a damn good offensive line coach where we feel like, we can kind of maybe fix this guy with this group that we got around him. So I understand what they're doing there. It gives them a chance to hit a home run for a starter. If not, at least there's depth there and some people and versatility in that interior part of the offensive line for the Eagles.
Green appeared in 12 regular season games last year with 9 starts. By the time he returned from his injury, he was no longer a starter. But he did start the first 9 games of the regular season last year for the Houston Texans, and obviously now a member of the Philadelphia Eagles. So, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if it is broke, fix it. And that's what the Texans are trying to do with the offensive line and the offense in general. The offense last year was bad. It wasn't. It was bad relative to 2020.
Exactly. It was
underperforming. Joe Mixon played well. C.J. Stroud had his moments. They had receiver injuries. They lost Stephon Diggs fairly early in the season. And Nico Collins was gone for weeks with a hamstring injury. But it felt like the coaching was bad and the offensive line play was bad. And those are the 2 areas that they've spent the resources to try to address. I don't know what they do to make the offensive line better, but here's the reality. It ain't going to be much worse, Chris.
No.
It can't be much worse.
Not much worse. We'll see. Maybe they find a few guys here on the street, some of those older veteran linemen that are looking just for the right spot, let alone, I think on top of that, it's a draft that's pretty deep with talent on the offensive line. So I think you'll see maybe that combination right there to try to address that. And they got a few young guys that I think are coming up the pipes here that they believe in that could fill in some of these spots as well.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.